The Napa Valley is renowned for its world-class vineyards and wines. But it's also teeming with extraordinary chefs, innovative farmers, and visionary tastemakers who have elevated this region to one of the culinary gems of the world. I'm Carlton McCoy, Master Sommelier and Napa Valley native. Today I'm tagging along with one of Napa's great local chefs to visit a sheep ranch where we'll try our hand at a classic South American asado-style lamb cooked over an open fire pit, and take in some of the valley's wildlife with a birder whose passion is next level. Every table tells a story. Let the feast begin. There's some days, and believe me, they are few and far between, that I find myself with a little bit of downtime. And it's on these days that I just hit the road, turn off the GPS, and go wherever the wind may take me. And more often than not, I'll stumble upon some hidden gem of a place that has somehow fallen under the radar. Napa Pasture Protein is one of those gems. It's a multi-generation, family-owned ranch built on the idea that land and the animals they nurture thrive best with sustainable farming practices. Today, co-owner Casey Carlson is preparing a traditional asado-style lamb over fire with Chef Rick Edge from Lucy at the legendary Bardessono Hotel in Napa. His menus are crafted from ingredients picked fresh daily from the restaurant's organic garden, which he'll prepare and serve with today's lamb dinner. Also joining us is Christian Cooper, whose devotion to birding is unmatched, and whose wit and charm makes him a perfect dinner guest.
I don't have words.
And while Casey mans the grill, his wife Corey and cousin Candace are getting it done. These two women are the backbone of the ranch. Along with their trusty sidekicks keeping the livestock in line, they keep the operation moving like a well-oiled machine.
So we've got one lamb on the spit. How often are you guys harvesting sheep for meat?
You know, we're a direct-to-consumer producer, so as we get a need for them, we'll harvest them. We take orders as they come.
I live just over the hill. I'd love to come over.
You're more than welcome anytime. So I'd like to introduce you to my wife, Corey, and some of our most valuable employees here on the ranch.
Corey. Hey, Pups.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks for coming out
place,
here.
huh?
Thank you.
So how many sheep do you have here?
Right in this field, we have 90 that are market ready, so we'll be weighing them today.
And these are all males?
These are all neutered males.
Who's that cool pup over there?
That's Lucy.
And who's that?
Lucy, and we have Penny over here, and we're gonna go gather the boys in. Come here, girls. All right, let's go. Get around.
I always think it's really beautiful watching a shepherd and a sheepdog work together. To me, it's like very magical. It's like this dance.
And they're a good little pair.
Away, away, look back. Look back, Penny. Good girl.
The cool part about these dogs is that they balance naturally. They'll balance off of each other, off of Corey, and off of those sheep. So they want to keep everything bunched together and bringing it towards Corey.
Yeah.
So that's their MO.
So they're working off of sort of natural wolf behavior, working as a team.
Exactly, yeah. So we just kind of take their natural instinct and give it direction and timing.
Steady.
And I notice their body language changes. They hold their heads down.
They've become a fur missile.
Fur missile.
How long does it take to train the dog to where they can perform like this?
If you're training consistently, you can get it done in a couple of years where you can have a fairly finished sheepdog, a couple of years.
So how many sheep can you corral with like 2 dogs?
Oh, 1,000.
1,000?
Yeah. Yeah, they do the heavy lifting, that's for sure.
1,000?
What we'll do is we'll walk down ahead of Corey and these sheep, and then she'll just bring them on down.
Good girl, walk.
Wow.
All right, we'll just tuck back behind this panel, and then she'll bring them right down this alley.
Okay, and they continue all the way through.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Come here, girls. You girls are all done.
Once the sheep are all corralled into the pen, Corey and Candace must weigh each animal.
Come on, girly.
The ideal weight to harvest is 120 pounds. Napa Pastures has orders all year round, selling direct to consumers all over the country, from farm-to-table restaurants to wineries to individual orders. While Casey and Chef Rick tend to the lamb, Christian introduces me to the wonderful world of birding.
No, this is new territory for me because I've never been to Napa before, so.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to see some interesting birds I've never seen before.
Where are you from?
From New York.
So hold on, so you're bird watching in New York City?
I was born in the city. I grew up in the suburbs on Long Island.
So you started when you were a kid?
Yeah, I started when I was a little kid.
Did your family think you were super weird?
Oh, yeah. They knew they had a freaky nerd on their hands.
Okay.
That wasn't going to change.
I'm glad you said it, not me.
Yeah, no, you know, I own it.
So do you have like a community of like bird watchers, or is it like a solitary like hobby?
For me, it's a little bit of both, particularly when I'm birding Central Park, which is kind of my stomping ground.
So you meet someone in Central Park, and you bird, and you're like, hey, you want to bird together?
It's like,
okay.
oh,
how would it go? Okay, we're in the park.
All right, we're in the park.
I see you, binoculars, I'm like,
I see, let's say I see you with
so
your
I'm like
binoculars.
doing this, I'm looking up, I bring, okay.
I'd say, anything good today? And you'd be like, oh, I just had a yellow warbler about a little further down the path. I'd be like, oh, that's cool. I just had a black and white warbler a little ways down this way.
And you guys are like, sick.
Yeah,
so speaking of that, we've got some big birds around here.
Yeah. One thing you'll always find in country like this is turkey vultures.
Oh, right there.
Oh, yeah, there's a turkey vulture. Oh, here goes 2 other little guys.
Whoa, man, you spot these things so easily. I'm definitely buying some binoculars after this.
Whoa. That's cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah. No,
I got
it's
a little
fun.
bit of like your geeky enthusiasm for a second.
See? It's so restful. And then you get this surge of adrenaline when you see an amazing bird. And that's what birding usually is, most of the time.
Now that the sheep are weighed and we're all parched from the midday sun, it's time for a refreshment.
So Carlton, what's this?
A Vieux Carré, classic.
Oh, you mean a Vieux Carré?
Correct. I didn't want to flex too hard, Christian. But it's a classic New Orleans cocktail.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! These are not kitchen noises. Okay, Christian? No woohoos in the kitchen. Okay, we don't do that. There's no woohoos.
Put that in there.
Thank you. I'm a very excitable guy.
So a little
Woohoo.
more space on the cutting board.
Chef, what do you got going on?
So Christian and I are chopping our chard, which is going to be the base for our chimichurri that we're going to put on the lamb today. So it's going to be a chard and basil base. And then we have some of our garden peppers that we're chopping up very fine. That'll go in there as well. We'll mix that with some red wine vinegar, a little bit of lemon juice, and some extra virgin olive oil. And then I have some marbled potatoes right now roasting with some of the merguez sausage, as well as some of our garden peppers, just natural olive oil,
This
salt,
comes from the garden at, back at the Bardessono, huh?
This comes from our garden at Bardessono. Truly believe, if it grows together, it goes together. I think we're about 8 miles away, so we're pretty much neighbors. And it seemed like the perfect sort of accompaniments to go with the lamb today.
Very cool.
So chimichurri, that's, isn't that Argentine?
Yeah, it is, and that's the style of spit that the lamb is roasting on.
Gentlemen, cheers, huh?
Cheers.
Appreciate you guys being here.
All right, guys, lamb's about ready.
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
Do it.
Grab you a set of gloves, and then we'll get this thing taken off the barbecue. 2 people on the front. I'm gonna unclip it, and I would say, Christian and I, we can be on the back side here, and then we'll walk it right up to the carving table.
We'll give Christian the heaviest part. He's jacked.
All right, so you guys take the pressure off here a little bit. All right, now you've got that. Keep it out of the. Ready? There we go.
Yeah, beautiful.
That'll work.
My mouth is watering.
Fantastic.
What do you think, boys? You think that'll work?
It's gonna be gorgeous.
I'm ready.
Yes.
So Casey, I saw you brushing the lamb with something. What are you basing it?
So this is a traditional Argentinian asador style. And what that was a brine called a salmuera. And the salmuera is basically salt dissolved in water, garlic, peppercorns, red chilies, a little bit of thyme, and some rosemary in there. And about every 20 to 30 minutes as we were cooking this, we were basting it, and it was helping to create this nice crust you see here. Yeah. And it helping to hold that moisture in. One of the things, one of the benefits and the tricky parts about cooking a whole animal like this is that you have all that connective tissue that normally would be trimmed away when you do your cuts. Yeah. But what you also get when you cook a whole animal like this is what we like to call the wobbly bits. Yeah. All little pieces on a lamb that are kind of small by themselves.
I love lamb necks. Like most people don't eat lamb neck. It's super delicious.
It is, and the reason is because it has all that connective tissue in it, right? It's difficult to cook, much like a brisket. You have to cook it low and slow and render all that stuff down. But once you do, I mean, you can see right now it's about as juicy a cut as you're gonna get on an animal.
It's beautiful.
What do you think, Chef?
It's tender as butter. I can't wait to get my teeth into this.
A staple of Napa culture, wherever and whenever it's humanly possible.
Yes, please.
We eat outside.
Goes well with the,
that's right.
Maybe it's a holdover from the old wagon trail days.
Actually, I'm gonna have white.
Who knows?
White is great.
All I know is that we just prefer it.
Thanks for bringing the wine, Nico.
Of course.
Cheers. We always love the people who bring wine. To Nico. You're always the most popular guy in the room.
Well, I'm always happy with the people that bring the lamb.
It's a good pairing.
Right?
Nico oversees one of the most historically significant vineyards in America. So these wines we're having today are particularly very, very special.
Yeah, so on the table we have Chardonnay, which was planted in 1967. And then we also have a little Pinot, which is obviously what we're gonna always go well with lamb. And so one of the older Pinot Noir vineyards in California, which also makes it one of the older vineyards in America for Pinot Noir.
I love it.
Thank you.
A little bit of the roast beef, my friend.
I don't think I asked you this earlier, but how long has your family been on this property?
Since the 20s in this particular area, and have slowly progressed through different generations doing different farming operations.
That means is 100 years almost on this ranch. It's got to be incredibly meaningful for you to see like the next generations of all your family to be able to be raised here together and to understand the value of this place.
We all exist together. We work together, we socialize together, we lean on each other, we depend on each other. It's a pretty special kind of thing we got going on here, for sure.
Her boys and my children and I were out putting up new fence. And so as we were pulling out the old stuff, me and a bunch of kids, I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is your great-great-grandfather's work right here. Like that, and like I'm pulling out old staples that I know were made in the 30s, you know, and it was like, oh my God, like just the fact that fences are the thing that may live past me, like the fence I put in with the kids, is something that my great-great-grandchildren might be like, man, she did a terrible job.
Essentially, this ranch is not ours. It's just our turn, and it's our job to leave it better than we found it, and to give them the tools they need to do the same.
And to that, obviously, your family's been on this ranch for a very long time, and there's a significance behind that. Nico, you now oversee like one of the oldest vineyards. How does that feel when you're walking through vineyards, working with vines that are older than you are, and that concept of like, this was planted, 20 years before I was born?
For me, it's like being a steward and a caregiver. We're only there for a little while, and the ability to do that for the future generations is really important.
I wish everyone took that same approach. I'm gonna sound like a terrible cliche about being here on this earth and on this planet. This is our stewardship. This is our turn to take care of it. If we all took that attitude, boy, would it be a better place.
Right.
Hey, cheers to that.
Cheers. 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 Thank you for having us.
Anytime.
I don't think Christian's ever really.
I know.